In the book, The Way of Men, Jack Donovan convincingly argues that if you want to get at the qualities that men have always respected in other men, you have to strip away all of the cultural, religious, and historical differences that obscure the picture. Instead, imagine yourself in a threatening environment, standing with a group of men on the perimeter of your territory that you're trying to protect. Out there in the darkness, there are other men, men who want to take your resources and valuables, your food, your women, your children. When you look at the men to the right and to the left of you, what qualities do you hope to see in them? What qualities give you confidence in your team? Donovan argues that in this kind of situation, the code of your group, the 4 standards every man needs to strive to live up to is simple: strength, courage, mastery, honor. He calls these the tactical virtues. So strength is simply raw physical prowess and power. It's the ability to dominate a human opponent or the forces and resistance of nature instead of being dominated, and to stand fast and immovable when pushed. Courage is the spirit, will, discipline to engage and employ one's strength when inwardly you're tempted to shrink, run, and hide. There are higher forms of courage, but at its most fundamental, it represents an outwardly demonstrated indifference to risk, pain, and physical danger. Mastery involves skill and adeptness in using the techniques and technology employed in hunting and fighting. It involves having a deft understanding of knowledge that saves lives and furthers the interest of your group. And now we're back to honor. Honor is the mechanism that pushes you to strive for excellence in strength, courage, and mastery. When you have honor, you don't engage in behavior that will weaken the group, you pull your own weight, and you have your brother's backs. Honorable men care about being manly because they know that their individual prowess and the tactical virtues bolsters the strength and reputation of their group as a whole, and that their group's reputation for strength deters attack from rival groups. Dishonorable men, on the other hand, evince indifference or hostility to these standards, which weakens the group and leaves it more vulnerable. Strength, courage, mastery, honor. These are the qualities men need to hunt and to fight, and they're qualities men need to embody and exercise to survive in a hostile environment. No culture, no art, no religion, no philosophy, no politics, no higher moral principles are possible if everyone in your group is dead.
I have seen a lot of people lie, statesmen, businessmen, and everyone else. Here are 7 tips to spot a liar. Number 1, liars don't give you enough details. They talk too much general stuff and repeat. Number 2.
They want to know why the police were called to your house in the early hours of Friday morning.
Thank you, Ian, and thank you very much for your kind remarks and your generous introduction, and thank you everybody for coming along to these first and most important hustings that we're going to be having. I don't know, it's not the most important, be careful what I say, they'll all be important, but these are the first. Ian, listen, I think what people have come here today, seductive interviewer, there you are, I think people have, I don't think they want to hear about that kind of thing, unless I'm wrong. I think, forgive me, I think what they want to hear is what my plans are for the country and for our party.
We will come on to that.
And I know you're going to have to come back, and I salute your indefatigability as a journalist. But I'm under the sad obligation of wanting to get my message across to our party.
Well, you've just taken up a minute with that answer, which has told us absolutely nothing.
You're a liar! You're a liar! You know something that you're not telling us, you slimy scumbag!
The liars change their word every week, just a little, so you almost not notice. Number 3.
It's becoming increasingly popular amongst leaders in the US. Double masking has been seen everywhere from the floor of the Senate to government press briefings.
Am I clear? Yeah. Okay, I think I'm wearing a double mask, that's why. Sorry.
Even the president has done it. And now the United States' top health advisor is recommending more people take up the practice.
There's nothing wrong with people wearing 2 masks. I often myself wear 2 masks.
The US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention advice is to wear 1 cloth mask made of 2 or more layers of washable, breathable fabric. And health experts say that while there's currently no strong scientific evidence that double masking is more effective at stopping the spread of COVID-19, common sense suggests it is a good idea.
Liar! Tell us what you know, you goddamn liar!
Their body language does not match their words, so watch very closely and listen to your guts.
My dog stepped on a bee.
My child spilled my tea.
Jimmy Savile shagged me.
I want to break free.
Didn't want to turn the key.
My dad has to pee.
My mom's stuck in a tree.
My dog stepped on a bee.
I sharted on Santa's knee.
I can't say turkey tree.
I'm just having a pee.
4. Instead of telling truth, they lie and want to make those who tell truth look like asshole.
I want to get to the political attacks. You have become, you've been sort of become a caricature on the right. There's some really wild, fantastical conspiracies. I got to play one because it's a sitting United States senator, Marsha Blackburn. I think we have a sound of this. Let's play that one.
Here are some facts that I want you to know. First of all, yes, Dr. Fauci was emailing with Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, trying to create that narrative, cherry-picking information so that you would only know what they wanted to know, you to know, and there would be a narrative that would fit with this cherry-picked information.
I don't even know where to begin, but it's a sitting United States senator. It's the most, what I would call the most extreme version of what I've heard. You've got Kevin McCarthy doing his own version of this, Marco Rubio. You're aware of the critiques. You've been debunking this. How do you debunk something like that? She's got it in her own head. Again, a United States senator that represents the state of Tennessee. What do you say to that?
You know, Chuck, I don't have a clue of what she just said. I don't have a clue of what she's talking about.
Neither did we.
I mean, welcome to the club. I have no idea what she's talking about. And I'm sorry, I don't want to be pejorative against a United States senator, but I have no idea what she's talking about. And you know, Chuck, if you go through each and every one of the points, which are so ridiculous as you know, just painfully ridiculous.
Confess! Liar! Confess!
Number 5. Liars give you too many compliments, and everything and everyone is amazing. Nothing is amazing. In Russia, we just say, "Все нормально." Number 6.
G'day, and welcome to That's Amazing with me, Carl Hooper. What would you do if you were walking down the road one night and you came face to face with a monster? That's right, a terrifying monster. Well, Dick Wellington here did just that. He came face to face with his wife. No, I'm joking. So, tell us about your monster, Dick. Tell us about your monster, Dick. Your shout, mate.
All right. Well, Cal, I live in Arnhem Land in Northern Australia, and it's an area held sacred by the Aborigines. It's a mystical area, and some people even say it might be haunted, you know?
Shut up, mate. Just tell us about your monster, will you? That's all right.
Well, one night I was walking back from the pub, and there it was blocking my path. I recognised it instantly. It was the Bew-Bew-Goi-Goi, which is an Aboriginal half-spirit, half-snake, half-man-bird.
Right. Did it have huge fangs?
Yeah.
And big claws?
Yeah.
And what colour was it, mate?
That's sad to say. It was invisible.
Invisible? But you just said it had huge fangs and claws.
Yeah, that was a guess.
So how'd you know it was there?
Oh, but the unearthly sound.
Like a terrifying roar?
Nah, terrifying silence.
So you saw and heard an invisible and silent monster?
Yeah, that's right. I was absolutely terrified. I've been on medication ever since.
But let me get this straight. How'd you know it was there? Did it leave a huge imprint in the ground?
No, mate, no imprint. It was hovering.
Do me a favour.
Now, what's that, mate?
Get off my show.
Now?
Now.
Oh, I've taken a picture. It's really spooky. You can't see a damn thing, look.
I bet you can. Will you get off my show, please? Like now? Next week on the show, we're going to...
recording. You're a damn thing.
Get off my show!
They exist. They're out there. There's other people out there.
6. They create and sometimes solve fake problems to steer attention away from their lie, to steer attention away from the truth. And finally, number 7.
Saddam Hussein has gone to elaborate lengths, spent enormous sums,
taken great risks to build and keep weapons of mass destruction.
Saddam Hussein is determined to get his hands on a nuclear bomb.
Nuclear weapon, nuclear weapon, nuclear weapon.
Active chemical munitions bunkers, mobile production facilities.
We know he's got chemical weapons. He's got them. He's got them. He's got them.
Murderer! You got away with murder, you murdering, lying waste of life!
7. Liars easily forget what they said, and they forget people they lied to. Walk upright, Druk. You will go more far in these grim times. Be honorable.
In contrast, Russian elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process. The result is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine. Iraq, too. Anyway, 75.
The story was reported in the right-wing New York Post before the 2020 election. It went like this. It was 2019 and Joe Biden was soon to run against Donald Trump for the presidency. Hunter Biden went into a computer repair shop. He wanted to recover data from some broken laptop computers, but he never returned to pick them up. Eventually, the computer repairman, John Paul McIsaac, looked at what was on the laptops, as he says he was allowed to, under a so-called 90-day abandonment procedure. What did the computer repairman find? Well, quite a lot. Homemade pornography, embarrassing photos. But it was the email traffic that turned this into a more serious matter. Hunter Biden used to be on the board of a Ukrainian energy company called Burisma. And John Paul McIsaac claims the laptop contained evidence that Hunter Biden used his connection with his father to help in this role, something that would amount to corruption. One email from a consultant to the firm read, "Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to DC and giving an opportunity to meet your father and spend some time together."
The announcement of my guy's upcoming travels. Now, my guy, Hunter refers to his father as my guy, or the chairman, or the big guy.
Joe Biden says he's never discussed his son's overseas dealings with him. He's dismissed the whole story as Russian disinformation. McIsaac, the computer repairman, who says he voted for Donald Trump in the 2016 election, made a copy of the laptop's contents and then told the FBI in December 2019. The story eventually made its way to the New York Post.
Ah, boy.
It was seized upon by Mr. Trump and his supporters, but it didn't make the impact that might have been expected. The FBI made clear their concerns about Russian disinformation ahead of the 2020 election. Subsequently, Facebook and Twitter restricted the spread of the laptop story on their platforms. Joe Biden won the 2020 election. The laptop story wasn't given the scale of coverage that might have been expected, but it's now back in the spotlight. Republicans control the House of Representatives in the US, and in the new session of Congress, they've promised to investigate claims of corruption.
This evidence raises troubling questions about whether President Biden is a national security risk and about whether he is compromised by foreign governments.
Republicans in the House are also planning to look into illegal immigration at the Mexican border and the US government's handling of COVID-19.
Any comments on the alleged allegations of your connection with Jeffrey Epstein? No.
There's been a lot of confusion lately regarding exactly who I am and what I believe in. I've been asked a lot of questions regarding my upbringing, my ethnicity, my religion, people trying to understand how I view the world. And for that reason, I've decided to put together 41 tenets, the 41 tenets of Tateism. I've mentioned them a few times before, but I want to actually explain them all here, once and for all. The reason I think they're so important is because they're universally applicable. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, it doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, old, young. It doesn't matter what status or standing you currently have in life. I believe if you live true to these tenets, it is the best possible framework in which you can conduct yourself to be massively successful. I also believe not only do you have a fantastic human experience, but all of the people around you will benefit from your existence. This is the best way to become the most capable, powerful, and competent version of yourself, and by extension, make you the most good for the people who love you, and by further extension, most good to the world as a whole. And for that reason, I wanted to outline them to you and make it very, very clear how I view the world. It doesn't matter if you are in a position where you face a difficult decision and you're not sure which path to take. The tenets will guide you on the correct path. It doesn't matter if you are looking to do something you've never done before and you're not sure exactly how to approach it. It doesn't matter if you are drastically attempting to improve your social standing or your physical capability. Living true to these tenets in and of itself pleases God and it pleases the universe, and it makes you an extremely lucky person, because it's amazing how luck can be self-constructed. And that's why I see myself as exceptionally lucky, as well as exceptionally capable and competent. And that's why my life is so fantastic and I've truly never lost. So I want to outline them to you, and I hope that all the people at home can understand them, pay attention to them. And I hope as many men as possible adopt them, because I truly believe the entire world can be a better place if the male gender as a whole, across all cultures and creeds, live true to these tenets, which have served me fantastically well.